This is the Tempest Risk Management Small Business Cybersecurity Series. I'm Andy Ziegler, president and founder of Tempest Risk Management, and we help small businesses prepare and manage through any type of disruption or emergency. In today's video brief, we're going to cover viruses and ransomware. Ooh, very scary, especially for this time of year, which is October. Don't know when you're watching this, but it's Halloween. This is one of the biggest fears and one of the scariest things that people can think about. So today we're going to cover the basics, right, of what viruses and ransomware are doing and how you can better protect yourself. So first of all, how they actually get in, and we'll cover this. So normally and very common is phishing, which is convincing you to click on a link which downloads the virus, or more commonly, they're obtaining login credentials in order to get access to your systems, where the bad guys can then go and install the viruses on your machines. Smishing, which is the same thing as phishing, except it's text messages. How many of us have been getting, 5, 10, 15 text messages a day with weird links on them? Again, you click on that, you're probably going to be taken to a fake website where they're going to ask for your login credentials. They're trying to steal something at the end of the day. Also common are downloading free things like games, files, and programs. So be really careful about where you're downloading anything from. Less common is file sharing, from an infected site. It's not as common these days, but happen all the time with like Napster and things like that. Fooled by a fake or infected website, there it is still possible, but the search engines have gotten a lot better about stripping those out. And then most uncommon is probably brute force intrusion, or what the traditionally what we would refer to as hacking, actually breaking into your machine and installing viruses and software there. It's a lot more difficult. There's a lot of layers of protection on most computer systems these days. Bit easier on some of the older ones. Not as common, especially because these more common tactics are a lot easier. They're a lot more effective, and they're a lot less expensive and take a lot less time than something like a brute force intrusion. So what they actually do when the viruses get in, what are the bad guys after? What are they after? They're trying to steal passwords and data. They're logging keystrokes with these viruses. They're going to try and corrupt or lock or encrypt your files for ransom, hence the ransomware. They might use it to spam contacts just to, cause chaos, and they might take over or destroy your machine. Now, at the end of the day, you ask, why are they doing this? What's the whole point? I mentioned it before. They're out to steal something. They're out to cause some sort of disruption or chaos. Most of the time, they're out for money. They're trying to steal your identity in order to try and open credit cards or buy things online, or they're going to try and get into your financial accounts, get into your banks, and steal money is what these guys are after. So don't make it easy on them. So your best defense against viruses, number one, educating yourself and your employees against phishing emails. Use the antivirus and firewalls. Any basic antivirus software, you can get it from a number of sources. McAfee, Norton Antivirus, very effective. It costs like $60 a year, something like that. Pay it. It's not that much money, and it offers a whole lot of protection. It's a great defense. And again, our defense, I mentioned this a lot in cybersecurity, it's all about layers. So one layer is going to be the antivirus software and firewalls, right? But another layer is going to be strong password management. Don't make it easy for anybody to get in. Don't download any software that you're not 100% sure of, and only download it from reputable sites. If you need to engage your IT team, engage your IT team in order to help you. Make sure that you're following the processes and policies and protocols that you have as a company. If you're a business leader, make sure you have policies and procedures that everybody is supposed to follow, that they're not supposed to download any software. I think in video number 1, we covered having a cybersecurity policy. Go back and watch that video if you haven't already. Basically, it'll tell you about how to set up good defenses to discourage any of these bad guys from getting in. So even with all the best defenses, what happens if you actually get hacked? What happens if they get in? What are we going to do? Well, the number one thing to do is to stop using that computer, stop using the infected application, disconnect from the network, disconnect from the internet, contact an IT or cybersecurity expert, especially in the case of malicious software. Most people are not going to have the skills in order to be able to completely eradicate it. So you're probably going to want to bring in help. And then restore files and backup. If you have to if you got to let it go, whatever they got, if they stole your files or deleted information or encrypted it, let it go and restore from backup. So hopefully you have at least daily backups happening on all of your files, and you might lose a few hours worth of data, but it's a heck of a lot cheaper than paying $10,000 worth of Bitcoin. And we're talking about ransomware here. So speaking about ransomware, in the case of a ransomware infection, they're going to encrypt your files. They're going to tell you that they can give you a key to unlock it for a price. Again, this is usually going to be in some sort of Bitcoin or untraceable or difficult to trace cyber currency. In fact, some of these guys have even gone to the depth of setting up help desks to help you use their key in order to unlock your files once you pay the ransom. If you can believe that, this is big business, big business. If your data is recently backed up and infected, then you don't have much to worry about. You don't have to pay the ransom. Just restore it and better protect yourself next time. Engaging IT or an IT professional, cybersecurity and restoration professional if you have to. It's going to be a lot cheaper than paying the bad guys, I guarantee you. Now, again, this uninfected piece is pretty critical, though. Because if you're using the same password for your network as your backup, these guys are going to know that. The first thing that they do when they get into your network is then to also try and get into your backup, stop the backups, corrupt the backups, encrypt those as well, so that way you have nothing to back up. Again, this all comes down to good password management and authentication management. Using two-factor authentication can help a lot too and prevent a lot of this stuff from happening. So hopefully you have recent backups and they're clean and you can just restore from there. If you think you might pay the ransom, engage the FBI. They might be able to help recover your funds. Plus, I've actually spoken with the FBI about this. If you are going to pay the ransom, there's a good chance that that's going to fund some sort of organized crime, possibly even a terrorist organization. So the last thing you want is for the FBI or somebody else to come knocking at your door a few months down the road and say, why did you send $10,000 in Bitcoin to this terrorist organization? May get you on a watch list or something like that. Make sure that law enforcement is well aware of what you're doing, especially for small infections, and they're so common these days and they're so overwhelmed. There may not be much that they can do, but there may be something that they could do. At the very least, it'll help them in their investigation and see trends as to where these attacks are coming from. It may give them some more information to help prevent this from happening in the future, help them with their investigations overall in sort of this, entire cybersecurity and ransomware, sort of epidemic that we have right now. So engage law enforcement, and the FBI is the right one to talk to. Call your local FBI office. All right, that's it for me. For more video briefs on cybersecurity and other small business continuity topics, subscribe to the Tempest Risk Management YouTube channel. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Please feel free to leave comments or questions, especially if you think I missed something or don't agree with something. Share this and other videos to your friends and colleagues. I'm Andy Ziegler, and remember, at Tempest, we help businesses survive and thrive.